America was built by hardworking people who were willing to sacrifice their own comfort for that of others. However, it seems that the work ethic that built this country is slowly fading away. The entitlement and laziness of the new generations is slowly degrading the American culture and way of life. Instead of letting work ethic die in this country, we must reignite the will to work and rekindle the ingenuity that brought the grand experiment of America to fruition.
Welcome back to the Young America Podcast. My name is Joe.
I'm Jacob.
And today we're going to be talking about work ethic. So obviously, normally we always bring up a topic because there's the issue, right? What is the problem that young people are facing today?
Well, obviously we're talking about work ethic. And so when I look out at least at other people in my generation, and not necessarily, just mainly internet stuff probably. But, you can even see it in the people you interact day to day. There's a lot of entitlement and laziness and just like, oh, it's supposed to fall into my lap. And when you look back at history, this is even just a little different, but it used to be that men became men when they were like 16, or maybe even, let's say 18. Sure, fine, whatever. Legally in this country, you're an adult when you're 18 and whatever. But now, we have 30-year-olds who still act like children. And so it's like, well, how did we get there? Well, I think part of it is because young people, specifically in this case, have lost their work ethic. That's what this country was established on. But if you think that you deserve everything because you're just so worthy for some weird reason, or you're lazy and so you won't work for anything and you want the government to give it to you, that's a problem. Because you'll never get anywhere in life.
Well, yeah, it's this gimme attitude, and I deserve it because I'm somebody, and none of that is true. And I think we've lost that because we've no longer really had to go out and work, like actually work, like they used to. They have to, they had to build their own houses. They had to go hunt and find their own food. They had to grow their own crops. They had to do that to survive. We no longer have to do that anymore. We can just go to Walmart and we're fine.
Somebody else did the work for us.
Right. And so we've been given so much that it's now, we take it for granted. And it's give it to me because I deserve it and because whatever reason. Yeah. And That's just not the case.
Right. But, just thinking about work ethic, when you look back in history, just kind of bringing it back to history, I guess, is... even in this country, what's so crazy to me is watching young people and how they hate America and everything that it's given them. And yet they don't want to leave. If they left, their life would be a lot harder a lot of times. And
oh, yeah.
The reason America is the way that it is because people worked hard and were the whole rags to riches story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about how many... rich people or whatever you can think of today, they all came from nothing. Nobody knew who they were.
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether they're a politician or a business owner. Well, some of the politicians, but a lot of times they had to work hard to get where they got. And the people in this country who established it worked hard to get where they got. The people who came over here and even established it, they definitely worked hard to get where they got, they were totally starting a new enterprise with absolutely nothing. And
yeah,
I know, we definitely couldn't do that today. We're too lazy and don't know how to do anything because we don't know how to work hard.
Right.
And another thing too is,
yeah, it's true.
Work pleases the Lord. It's a biblical thing. And if you're lazy, the Bible makes it very clear you'll come to destruction. And that's just the way that it is.
Well, even if you look at the beginning of creation, God had Adam and Eve working when it was still perfect. So work itself is not a curse. It was the pain that comes with the work. That's the part that's the curse.
Mm-hmm.
So work, it was supposed to be enjoyable. It was supposed to be enjoyable. So going to your 9-to-5 job, it was supposed to be fun. But man ruined that like he ruins everything else. So you're welcome. So work ethic, it's very important to have. I've had, let's see, how many jobs have I had? I've had 1, 2, 3 so far, I think. So the first job I had was I worked at Burger King for, I don't know, 5 years maybe. And then I became the manager and whatever. And then actually 3 summers ago, sheesh, it was 3 summers ago. I was working 2 jobs. I was working McDonald's and Burger King at the same time. So I was working like 80-hour weeks. That was the whole summer. And it was a doozy. I can tell you that much. But I got through it. I don't know how, but
The Lord keeps you going if you're doing what's right.
Yeah, it happened. So that was amazing. But throughout all those jobs, though, you just look around at people and how lazy they are. They have no motivation. They have no incentive to do anything. They're just loafing around just to get their paycheck. It's like, dude, you're here to work. Get up, go work. And it's just disgusting to see people like, oh, I can't do that because I don't know. Just, dude, shut up. Just go work, Like, come on, get with it. But there's no drive. There's no incentive. There's no work ethic at all. They're always waiting for someone else to go do the job. And it's like, dude, come on, get with the program.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go through life like that, you're not going to get very far at all.
Right.
If you want something, you're going to have to go and work for it. You're going to have to go and actually do something with your life.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't know what it is, but it feels like people have lost their, like you said, they lost their drive and their industriousness. Like no one is, well, it feels like, okay, just not universal, but it feels like no one's willing to go start something. Like, how many people out there, like working at Burger King, my experience with work has been a lot different than yours. Normally I'm around people who encourage me to go harder and make sure I don't lose the work ethic and do what's right. Just thinking about that sort of thing, it's like, would those people would not be the people most of the time to go start a business or improve their situation. They just want it to fall into their lap. But that's not how it works at all. You're supposed to do the work that the Lord has given you to do with your whole heart. And if that's working at Burger King, then go get it. And just, we need to get back the drive, whether you're a Christian or not. Work hard, man. That's the only way you're going to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
Plus,
I think also another thing that hasn't helped us is the COVID thing. People realize that they could get paid for sitting home and doing nothing. And so they're like, oh, why don't I just do that instead of... That was actually a really big problem after COVID, after they opened everything back up.
Back to work.
Nobody wanted to work. It was awful.
Yeah. Well, when you're printing free money, why should they go anywhere?
It would be like 2 or 3 people running the entire store. And you're like, dude, what in the world? It was awful. But people are going to be lazy and they're going to be what they are. Especially when you're not raised in a Christian home and you're not raised on biblical principles. Because honestly, that is the foundation on which we live our lives. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a religion. It's a lifestyle. And I don't think people realize that. They're like, oh, I go to church every Christmas, every Easter. Okay, quit. Don't. Just stop. You're not. Quit
Either
trying.
Go or don't.
Just stop. There's no longer that drive, and there's no longer any incentive to do anything. And people have become lazy, and it's just all part of turning away from God and taking God out of schools and out of government and out of everything.
Right.
And
right. And even politically, if you think about it, the government kind of wants you to not work hard because then if they give you money, they can control you.
Oh, yeah.
Because then they can say, well, we'll only give you money if you do, and then fill in the blank. And because you need it, because you're not willing to go work, and, now you can't work because you're a bunch of socialists, you have to do what the government tells you. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's not what our country was built on. Our country was built to allow people to have the freedom to fail and to win.
All right.
And it was completely up to you whether you did or not. Mm-hmm. And that's still true to this day. Yeah. I mean, you look at a lot of famous and rich business people, how many times have they gone bankrupt? They failed and they got back up and they went out there and worked hard and won again. that is what America is supposed to be and what people are supposed to be and what young people should be, because you have the energy to go do it. Instead, you're wasting your life on your phone and not working hard and just showing up to work and sitting around. That's not how life works. And pretty soon, one of these days, you're going to wake up and realize that you actually have to do something with your life.
And there's another thing. When you're at work, put your phone away.
Yeah, for real.
Don't sit there and scroll and text and talk on the phone or whatever. Put your phone away and work. That's what you're there for.
Yeah.
I know it's a novel idea, but trust me,
mind blown.
It's going to be okay. You can live without your phone for 8 hours. It's going to be okay. You can do it.
It's probably better for you,
it's
actually.
Done before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'd actually focus on your job and you would actually get stuff done. And everyone could probably go home sooner. So help everyone out, including yourself.
Anyways, so that's the problem we're talking about. But looking back at history and just different, because I think it helps to look back at history and look at people who have worked hard and made something of themselves and helped other people by doing that. And one of the things I was thinking about as I was preparing for this is Booker T. Washington. I listened to an amazing podcast about him from Daily Wire, but it just talked about how he believed that the way that blacks, because this was right after Civil War and the whole Reconstruction era, it was a mess, okay? I mean, it just was. That's the way it was. And
yeah.
But his belief was that if Black Americans would work hard and learn skills and be honest and interact in the marketplace, and do what's right, then we would get the equality that they desired and that we desire. And whereas others were like, oh, well, the government should give us everything. But if you cannot prove that you're a worthy citizen, if you can't prove that you're worth something, then what's the point? And so his point was that work hard, whoever you are, whether you're white or you're black, work hard, make something of yourself and get somewhere. And that's how he came to be professor of the leader of Tuskegee Institute. I mean, he started out in a coal mine when he was 9, or no, maybe it was a salt mine. Anyways, and then he worked in a coal mine. Then he worked as a janitor, working his way through school. I mean, this guy went through the ringer to get to where he got. And then when he got to Tuskegee, they didn't even have buildings. So he decided they were going to learn how to make bricks. And so they learned how to make bricks. And his entire life was just working. And he became successful. He may not have been the richest dude, but we still remember him today for everything that he's done. And I mean, how many other people could we say? I mean, George Washington, he worked like crazy. I mean, if you think about the frontiersmen, Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, they worked like crazy, man. They lived out there in the woods and worked hard and did what was right. And just so many people throughout life who came from nothing, absolutely nothing, and made something of themselves by working hard. If you want something or you want to get somewhere in your life, the way to get there is by working hard and just taking the next step and going after it. Whether that's the smallest job like Burger King or whether that's running a business or something.
Okay, so things we find in the Bible, though. There's tons and tons and tons of verses, especially in Proverbs, talking about smart people that are diligent and that work hard, and in the end, they end up on top. And I'll just read a couple, for instance. Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 4, it says, "He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich." Okay, so a person that is lazy and has no work ethic, he becomes poor. Okay, listen to it again. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. Okay, so a slack hand means his hand is slacking. It's not moving. It's just stable. It's not working. Okay, he becomes poor because it's not moving. He's not working. He's not doing anything. Okay, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Okay, so the hand of the diligent is the one that's getting out there. He's getting up early in the morning. He's going to bed late. He's working. He's doing things. He's going to be rich. He's going to become beneficial to society.
Yeah. Well, and the Lord blesses diligence because that's what the Lord desires from us. He doesn't want you to be lazy.
I like this one. Proverbs 13:4, it says, "The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat." I love this one. The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing. Okay, so a sluggard, someone that doesn't work, he's going to desire, he's going to want this, he's going to want that, but he doesn't work, so therefore he can't buy it. He can't get it because he doesn't work. And then it says, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. The diligent, the person that works, he's going to be the one that has everything he wants. He's going to be fat. He's going to be satisfied. He's like, dude, I want that. Okay, let's go get it. He's gonna work for it, and he's gonna get it at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, you could say the sluggard is entitled. He thinks he deserves it. He desires it, but he's never gonna get it because he doesn't have the guts to go figure out how to get it.
Proverbs 22:29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Okay, so a person that works, again, he's gonna be busy. He's gonna be getting stuff done. He will stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. So he's going to be the one that's up there in high places. He's going to be where the king's at, because the king's like, hey, this dude works. This guy has work ethic. This guy, I can trust this guy because he works. And, what your work ethic tells a lot about you. It really does. I judge people based upon their work ethic. I really do. If I like you, good job. And if I don't like you, oh well. But I just one thing that I do, because nobody has work ethic anymore. And when you find those people, they're such a blessing. And they're like, wow, you actually do your job. You actually work. Oh, what a blessing. Like,
yeah,
it's an encouragement to find that there's actually someone else that's out there.
There's other people like you
that actually does the same thing that I do. And you're like, whoa, this is cool.
Well, it's hard, I think, to respect somebody. Yeah, I think it's hard to respect someone, if you're a hard worker, to respect someone who is lazy and has no gumption. Like, you want to surround yourself with people who are going to help you to do right. Iron sharpeneth iron. And so if you have a good work ethic, you want to surround yourselves with people who have a good work ethic, who you're going to be able to work with them. You're going to get stuff done. You're going to get somewhere in life. And when you see people who are lazy, it's hard to, shall we say, get along with them, because you're on two totally different paths. That person's waiting for it to fall into his lap, and you're out there figuring out how to get it. And there's a big difference there. And, that just plays into even who are your friends. Surround yourself with people who are going to help you to do right and help you to work hard, and go work hard together. That's what we do. We both work a lot, and we do our best to serve God together. And I think it's, helped our relationship, is helping us get somewhere in life by helping each other to get somewhere.
It was nice. This is like totally random, but before I was a manager, I didn't have much pull necessarily, because you're just an average Joe.
Yeah.
Pun intended, yes. But after I became, a manager, it was nice, because I'm like, hey, I can actually tell people what to do. And it was enjoyable. I obviously I didn't abuse my power, obviously. But
of course.
It was fun. It's like, hey, go do this, go do that. And instead of just standing there scrolling on your phone, it's like, hey, go actually do something. So that was great. I did enjoy that part. Anywho, totally random, but
there you go.
See, if you work hard, you're going to become a manager, and you're going to be able to tell people what to do. So that's the moral of the story. Work hard and get promoted.
Well,
no.
Well, that's how you get ahead, is because, like we said earlier, God blesses the diligent. I mean, other leaders are looking for people who want to become leaders, and you get there by working hard. And when you look at certain things, whether you're in a leadership position or not, you are an example to people by the way you work. And other people will follow you, whether you're a leader or not, if they see that person is going somewhere. I want to get on that train. Whether that's your church, whether that's your friend group, if you are the one working hard and you're trying to encourage others to work hard, they're going to hop on that train with you. Whether you're the leader or you're following the leader, whatever the case is, work hard in the work that God has given you to do, and others will follow you. That's how we get revival, too. If you're doing what's right and you're on fire for the Lord, if other people are awake and paying attention, they'll want to get on that train, too. Whether you're the pastor of the church or whether you're an average Joe like Joe, just kidding. Whether you're an average Joe like us, people hop on that train. And it takes time, and not everybody will. But that's no excuse to not do what the Lord wants you to do. And whatever the
Right.
task is at hand, go do it with everything you've got in your body. People who do things half-heartedly drive me crazy. I try to give
I agree.
everything that I've got. And I'm not always very good at it, and I don't always do it, but I try very hard to make sure that I'm doing everything with excellence, and I'm getting everything I have, because the Lord deserves it. God is worthy. He's worthy of the glory, and He's worthy of the praise, and we're doing it for His glory, whatever it is.
When we were in Africa, we obviously, well, it may not be obvious, but we started to build a church building, which was actually a really blessing. How old was I? I think I might have been 13, maybe. I might have been older. I don't remember, honestly. But it was me, my brother, and then 2 of the national pastors. And we started to make bricks, like actual, bricks that
Like
were
cinder block bricks.
They were massive. They were without the holes. They were all solid. Those suckers were heavy. But we would get up at, like, I don't know. I think it was we'd be there by 5. So we would have to get up, get dressed, whatever, and then get there by 5. And then you have to get everything ready. But it was a process. It was hard work. It's cement. It's sand. I can give you the mix down, but whatever. But it was hard work, and we made 7,000 bricks. It wasn't, most of the time it was just the 4. Well, my dad was there too. So I guess the 5 of us. But most of the time that was just us, and we would make, I don't know, I think it was about 100 or 200 a day, or not a day. We do that every Friday. But anyways, and then my brother left, and then we actually started making the building, and that was hard, because again, that's concrete. We had to dig the foundation. That was pure clay. Like, that stuff was nasty. And then we had to pour the foundation. We had to put the rebar. Yeah. And then, it's just a process, and it was difficult, but I stuck with it, and it's what I am today. Like, it's work ethic. You just stick with it, and you get it done, and at the end
Lord
of the day,
blesses.
God's going to be glorified.
Now you have a church.
And moral of the story: quit being lazy.
Right.
Get off your phone and do your job well. Do it to glorify God. Yeah, so there's a few things that are kind of new. We're starting to post more often on the Gram and Facebook, and then on Rumble and YouTube as well. So check those out, repost them, like, comment, do whatever you want. But start being interactive with us, please. That's what we're asking.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking is, we have a podcast email, right? So, and we get about 30 downloads per episode consistently. So, what I want those 30 people to do, whoever they are, is go down in the description of this podcast, find the email address, and just send us an email. I don't care what you say. You can say I hate it. You can say I love it. You can say you should change this. I don't care what it is. Just let us know you're there. That would be great. We would love the interaction. And we hope we're an encouragement to you.
It would be great. It would be a blessing to find out.
While you're at it, consider hitting the support the show link down in the description as well. That helps pay for different subscriptions for running this thing and everything, because it's an expensive process. And it seems like costs keep going up. If you want to be encouragement that way, that's available. And go buy some Joe's Joe, because it tastes good. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. Oh, one more thing too. Sooner rather than later, we will have the full video podcast available on YouTube and Rumble. So keep an eye out for that. We'll announce that on Facebook and Instagram when that is finally out. And then you can go check it out. It'll be great.
Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time, people.
Thank you for listening to Young America. If you enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing using the link below. If you want to see more content from us, feel free to check out our Facebook, Instagram, Wisdom, YouTube, or Rumble accounts. God bless America.